Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening all at once. This is Roncar, and it is my pleasure to be with you in this evening. And so I would simply like to begin my opening remarks by reminding you of some of the things that we discussed last week, that you are very much in power, that you are the person in charge of your life. And much of what you create in your life and much of what you attract to yourself is that which you think about on a daily basis. All your thoughts accumulate. And if you have repetitive thoughts, those too accumulate and they become stronger. So you should be somewhat careful of your thoughts. You must manage them in many ways, for it is good to think positive thoughts, such as, I have confidence in myself and my abilities. I am smart. I am beautiful. I am intelligent. I can take care of myself. I can do everything that I need to do. I have intelligence. I am extremely smart. And I can solve all my own problems. I love so-and-so. I love my pet. I send healing, for I am part of God, and I have the power to send forth healing. And I send healing to my pet, to my friend, to my parent, to whoever I decide is in need of healing. And I send that healing out to them, and I know that because I am God and part of God, that my healing power, my healing energies, my healing thoughts do go out and are successful in helping others to heal if they really wish to be healed. And that is an important thought, if they wish to be healed. And that is an important thought for yourself. Do you wish to be healed? Do you want everything to turn out right? Or do you just want it to be the way you want it to be? Because sometimes what you want to have happen is not that which is best, and it will not come out or work out for your highest and best good. And perhaps what you are hoping for in being healed is not that which is the most important thing for you. And so you have to know that what you are speaking is allowing the rest of your God self, not just your mind and your intelligence and what you want, but what is the rest of yourself? Well, the rest of yourself is God. Part of you is just a human being on earth, but part of you is also part of God. As we said in the meditation, that which has been created always remains part of its creator. And so, as we have all been created by God, we all still remain part of God. And so there is ourselves, and there is ourselves that is part of God, and is because of that God. It is a hard thing for most people in the physical world to take ownership of their God selves. But if you want to be the most powerful creator that you wish to be, take ownership of your God self, and knowing yourself to be God is part of being responsible for yourself. It is what empowers you to attain your goals and your wishes and your aspirations. It empowers your thoughts to attract things and situations to yourself, because those thoughts are God's thoughts. And so you must be careful what you are thinking. You must think of that which is best, and always allow room for God to do his part. You have what you would like. He is aware, and you are aware. But the infinite intelligence that resides within you may not allow you to achieve that which you wish. For there is something greater and better waiting for you at another time and another place. And sometimes there is a lesson to be learned in not getting what you want, but getting that which is best for yourself, which slowly comes to mind, becomes clear, and you then can move forward in your life with more confidence and more trust in your own innate abilities that are part of you, because you are one with God. And so I just remind you of this truth, that you are God, and you create the world in which you live and the life that you live through your words, your thoughts, your decisions, and your perceptions. I have kept this message short this evening, and I'm ready to answer questions. Would someone with a question please speak up?
Well, if no one jumps in, I'll jump in.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. It's been a while.
Yes, it has.
My focus has always been on my kids. Raymond did get a job, thank God. He's out in Indianapolis, has an apartment, very nice complex. So far, he's, I think this is his third week working. I went out there with him to settle him in and help him set up the apartment and whatnot. Thankfully, his aunt and uncle, my husband's brother and his wife, and their family are about an hour and a half away. And Raymond has already lived with this family years ago. So it's a good connection for him. And I'm glad that he's not left out there by himself. But I'm just curious, what your take is job-wise. I know that there's obviously you're going to have turnover in every company. And the past 3 years have been very volatile, out of proportion, considering all that was going on with the pandemic and everything. And I know that he has aspirations of coming back east. I don't know where Mark and I are going to be in the future, but I was just curious what you're sensing here as far as his stability with the company and maybe launching into, because he's a subsidiary.
Into what was that word before subsidiary?
He is a subsidiary of a larger company. So I was curious to know if he have a chance to work for the main company in the future. Obviously, he has, to get settled into this company and stay there a while and grow with the company. But, and success and happiness, it's always been a concern for me, especially with this one. Yes, thank you.
We know of your difficulty.
Yep.
But I must point out to you that you seem to be worrying about nothing, and prematurely, may I say so.
Yeah, not worried. I'm more curious if he's going to be able to grow with this company, stabilize with the company, or move up with the main company that he's working
But it does
indirectly for.
not matter. This is not an important question or answer for you to know. I understand you are just curious, but we do not know what will happen in the future. I cannot predict the future. And while there is the common belief, because I am in spirit, I can see the future, there remain multiple futures for most people most of the time. And so you cannot truly see the future, because is future A or future B or future C or future D most likely to manifest? There are always options. You see, because you are always in the act of creating, your thought today will not necessarily be your thought tomorrow on what is best for yourself or what you truly want to do. Your son is fairly young, and he is not accomplished in the sense that he does not have great skill at looking at his future and making wise decisions. He is growing and he is getting better at these things. And it is very good that he has found a job in a lovely city such as Indianapolis. And it will be a good experience for him to be so much on his own, in his own place, to be his own man. And he will probably experience many emotions which would obscure any prediction that I could give you. So it is really not important for you to know. What is important for you to know now and believe is that you will be successful in this job, which is really his first job. And success is what we want. And you need to have confidence that he will be successful in this job. Do you understand?
Yeah, well, actually, I believe he'll be successful. I'm more interested in his growth potential moving up with the company or moving to a position within another company, maybe in a year or two, to to just move up financially and otherwise. I mean, that would be
You
great.
can.
I mean, yeah, I have faith in him. I'm not like, if I didn't believe me, I would say, oh, Raymond, come on, this is really a stretch for you or whatever. No, I'm excited for him. I've asked him, I said, is this a reach for you, or is this something that is in your wheelhouse? I think what's exciting for him is that it's challenging for him, because he would get bored if it's too easy of a job. He's very bright, but someone like him has to be stimulated. It can't be such an easy task and then there's nothing in it. You know what I mean? That part of the challenge, which propels people forward, is conquering whatever is in front of them. That sense of accomplishment. Hey, you turn around and you go, yeah, I did that. Wow. I didn't think I had it in me, but I pulled it off, and I'm looking for those things with Raymond being out there. I'm actually grateful he's out from mother's thumb, um, and whatnot. So no, like any mother with the first job, or, someone out of college, the first real job. But he's had jobs before, so I was just curious because, and by the way, you told me it was going to take him 7 years to complete college, and I've been ball busting you. It ended up being 8, but hey, he got it done. And this job, he got it all on his own, not through a relative, not through a friend, not through a coworker of ours, which my sister's children all benefited from. Raymond did it all on his own. He sought this company, through Indeed.com, and they sought him out, and I mean, he didn't directly seek out this company, but he stretched himself to go out of the area because he wasn't getting the second interview. But I don't want to babble on because I know there's other people with questions. You know, I always want to be conscientious of the time.
Yes, my
I'm
answer to
grateful
you
for your time, but thank you.
is still my answer to you is still the same. Do not worry about whether there is the opportunity for him to move into the over company, so to speak, or whether he stays with the subsidiary. Staying with the subsidiary does not limit his potential.
Yeah.
Going
Oh,
into the other company may limit his potential. Who
mhm.
knows? And so if he is not happy where he is, then he has to take responsibility for his unhappiness and do what he needs to do, which may be find a different job, or maybe speak to his boss and ask for more challenging work. This is what he, as an adult, needs to do. And so if the work is not challenging enough for him and he's in danger of getting bored, he needs to recognize that within himself and say, I need to do something else, and ask his boss for such more difficult work if it's possible. And this is his responsibility, and it is part of his growth path. And so my answering this question, even if I could answer it perfectly well with discernment, is not appropriate. It isn't the right question to ask, for he is in no way limited in this position. He's not stopped from taking more jobs, different companies. If he cannot move ahead in this company and he has the ambition and the desire to do so, then he must take responsibility and look for another job, which is more challenging and more lucrative, perhaps. It is simply what needs to be done as part of his growth potential. Everything you speak about lies in potential within him, and it is up to him to do it, and not appropriate for me to answer your question at this time. So I know you will come up with another question, which is perfectly acceptable, but we will ask if anyone else has a question they would like to ask. And so,
Absolutely.
Hi, this is Charlotte.
oh, Charlotte,
I
yes.
came in late, and the reason I want to speak up is because my son isn't around. Usually he's around and I don't want to talk about him. And my daughters are very upset that he's still with me and not out on his own. They think I'm enabling him, but he did fly out to Dallas, Texas to see his two little ones, the 4-year-old little girl and the 2-year-old boy. And he got there safely, and he'll be there for a week. He had to rent an Airbnb because she wouldn't allow him in the house. And I feel sad about that because it limits the time he could spend with them. He's only allowed to see them when she brings them over, which is only like a few hours maybe in a day. And then the rest of the time he's alone. And I don't know, as you know, since my fall, I've been feeling very vulnerable and thinking in terms of what I would want to do next, like perhaps move into to downsize rather than live in a house with 2 sets of stairs up and down the basement and up to the bedrooms, and that I'm getting older, and it's tough. Part of me wants to just stay and not move. And maybe what I want from you is to say that it's okay, that I can manage it, hopefully until maybe I'm 90. In a few years, I'll be 90 years old. And even though I don't look at or act it, in fact, I know I should, wait a minute. Oh, all right. So here's this 87-year-old woman. Okay. who needs your advice as to what should I do when my son comes home? He has to move on. He has to make a decision whether to go to Texas. And if I make him too comfortable here in New Jersey, he may not want to go. And that's my dilemma. And he's not just starting out. He's like 60 years old. He's a grown man. He's like old enough to be a grandfather, actually. It's a crazy situation. So thank you for anything you can do to help me.
Well, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
Since it will be hard for you to continue to live alone as you get more older,
Yeah.
Is he helpful to you?
Yes, he is, but he's not, he's encouraging my, I am not the best housekeeper. He cooks, he cleans somewhat, he shops, but the house is still cluttered. It's very cluttered. And I would like very much to declutter, and I would love if he were the kind of a person who would encourage me and perhaps help me to get rid of stuff, because I've been in this house for 55 years and I've accumulated an awful lot of stuff. A lot of it I'd like to just get rid of and donate, and I don't want anything for it. I just want to get it out of the house and make the house presentable, because right now I'm even ashamed to invite people over.
Well, then here is another question for you. Since he is an actual help to you where you live, and he will help you to continue to live in this house.
Mm-hmm.
It is hard for you to downsize because you have all this clutter and you have all these things. And everything you start to work on, you find treasures within these old things that you do not wish to get rid of and that you would like to keep. And so it would be much easier for you to allow him to remain. Are your daughters close by?
No, they're not.
Well, then you should ask your daughters to come out, spend some time with you, and help you declutter and help you get rid of things. Your son helps you live there in comfort. He helps you in most things, and you should just not be so foolish as to carry something down the cellar stairs.
I know, but then, as my daughters say, enabling him, I want him to live his own life also. He's got 2 little children that he shouldn't be separated from by so many miles. Texas is like
but
another
it isn't
country.
a quest. He has 2 little children with a mother who will not allow him to see them freely or be fully participating in their lives. For him to move would be very difficult. He does not have any money to earn, whereas living with you, his needs for money are less. And so whatever money he has, he may be able to exist on. And he helps you to stay in the home that you love. And your daughter's saying you are enabling him to not take his responsibilities. Well, there may not be anything that he can do. He can't live the life that you want him to live in Texas with his children, because his ex-girlfriend will not allow him to really be a father to these children. And she does not want him in the house. So that which you would like to see is not likely to happen, even if you were to force him to move to Texas. And you should ask your daughters to perhaps take a week off from their lives or a weekend and come and help you do some decluttering in your house. Your son works to keep it, well, not to keep it clean, but to do the things that need to be done for daily living. And you need that. So he is enabling you to stay where you are. You would have difficulty without his help. And you can easily do without him for a week or perhaps a month, but
Yeah.
you would really need his help at some point in time. And I need you to think about those things
Right.
when you are trying to make this decision, because that perhaps may be your ideal solution, is to allow him to remain and continue to help you be mostly independent in your
Mhm.
own home.
Right. That makes sense. Thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. And speak to your daughters about them coming out to help you sort through some of these things and make
Right.
decisions.
And take them away or take what they want and and get rid of
Yes,
it.
and to help you perhaps load up a garbage can or a garbage bag with things that they definitely do not want and you do not
Just-
want to keep around.
Just trash it. Yep.
Yes.
I would love that. And I can't seem to do it on my own.
No, that is why I suggest you ask your daughters if they can come and spend, not together, but individually, come and spend a small amount of time with you from time to time to help you clean up the clutter.
Okay. Thank you. I will.
You're most welcome. Do we have other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
So I suffer like really bad anxiety. And it's like the minute I wake up, I'm all like nervous. And I always think like the worst of things. Like I'm worried about Brahms because I have to monitor him he's in remission for 84 days. If I get like a migraine, right away I jump to brain cancer. If I get a stomach ache, oh my God, what if I have this? What if I have that? I just want to know if you sense that if there's anything I should be worried about, or if it's just my anxiety just going, or if you sense that there are concerns like with Brahms or with my health. Like, do you sense that there is something I should be concerned about, or is it just my anxiety making me crazy?
It is your habitual anxiety thinking that makes you think these things. Now, if you are prone to migraines and you get a migraine and you think, oh, maybe it's brain cancer, but you know it's a migraine, and you just have to stop the thought, saying, of course it isn't brain cancer, it's just another one of my migraines. Oh, my foot hurts. Maybe I'm developing whatever happens to feet. Your big toe, what is that? There is an illness that seems to affect joints. No, this is not, I am fine. Every twinge that you feel does not mean that something is wrong with you. Bodies simply have that problem. That's why it's so nice in spirit. You do not have all those twinges and aches and pains and need for food and warmth and cuddling. So it's quite nice to be without a body. I do not wish to encourage any of you to vacate your bodies prematurely. Live your life and create a good life for yourself. So don't let me be misconstrued as to my meaning. So Danielle, you have to take control of your mind. You let your mind run around in funny circles, thinking outrageous thoughts about things you do not want. This is not entirely unusual, but it is up to you to firmly talk to yourself and say, stop it. When you find yourself thinking about a possibility of something you do not want to show up. After all, do you want to be ill and die? I don't believe so. And what would happen to both your cats? Brahms, you finally got all healed, and now you're sick. How is that going to be? Not good. You do not want to be ill. And so therefore, you want to think about how perfect you are, how you are very healthy, how everything is fine. You have to take control of your thoughts. It isn't always easy, but it is within your power. It is just that you have allowed your mind to play a what if game. Yes, to play a what if game. And the what if is the most horrible thing your mind can think of. So, what if I get hit by a car when I cross the street tomorrow? What if I'm involved in an automobile accident? What if I come down with ptomaine poisoning? What if? And you can think of one horrible thing after another because you can. Your mind is very inventive, but you can control that mind. And it's going to take a little work on your part to stop worrying. You have to stop worrying, as we instructed you yet last week with Brahms, to think soothing thoughts, to pet your cat and say how well he is and how good he is and how much fun he can have playing with his sister and how you love him, and think only positive thoughts toward him. If you have been successful at doing that for Brahms's sake, have you been? Yes, right?
Every day I've been doing it like in the afternoon and right before bed.
Yes, so you have been doing it. So for those time periods, you are not worrying. You are sending good thought vibrations toward Brahms, healing vibrations. And you're sending healing energy out, not just to him, but out into around yourself, whether you realize it or not. For those time periods while you have been healing Brahms, you are not thinking and worrying. You are thinking good thoughts. And if you're like most people, you're running out of good thoughts to think. Oh, what else can I say? Because I keep saying the same thing, but that's normal. You have to continue to think good thoughts toward Brahms to keep him well and healthy. And you have to do that for the next 83 days, I believe, till you are fairly certain that he is past any possibility of relapse. And so you have to do that. Now, you can do that for yourself. No, you're not going to pet yourself. And you're not going to spend your whole day saying that you're great and you're well and you're wonderful and you're creative and you're competent and you're confident. If you could tell the difference between those two words as I said them, you have confidence in yourself. You are competent and can do whatever it is that you wish to accomplish because you are smart, you are intelligent, you are healthy, you are well, you are fit, you are fit and trim, your muscles are toned, you are strong. You have to start thinking all these things about yourself, about your life. That you work at a job that you love, you have plenty of money, you can say all these things all day long, and they're all positive and will help you to live the kind of life that you want to live deep down inside. Resist the temptation to be tintillated by the possible negative situation that your mind can think of. That is what is happening. It is just fooling around, pretending to be scared of these things, as you might have done when you were a child. And if you started doing that when you were a child, you are probably still doing that. Are you afraid to go outside? I hope not. There's a beautiful world out there. The spring is going to be wonderful. And the summer, and all the things that you can do outside. So I hope that you have the confidence that you feel outside is safe. You are safe outside. You are safe doing whatever you want. You have to give yourself this unending instruction on how good you are, how perfect everything is in your life, and that you are competent and good in all ways. And this will bring about that in fullness, and you will eventually stop thinking these frivolous, tintillating, what if I'm going to die thoughts. So dramatic. It's like some sort of a romance novel where the heroine is going to die. It is up to you to take control. You have control over your mind. You are the only one who has control over your mind. And just take that responsibility and take control and work at it. You must work at it. And then you'll reach a point where you'll get a thought like that, and it will just be, it's no, that's not it. That's not going to happen. And you won't have to work at it. The thoughts will become less and less. The negative thoughts will become less and less. And hopefully you'll find interests that you will want to pursue in life. If you haven't found any yet, try to find something creative that you can do, or some way of helping some other people. Because in helping others, you will find your salvation, and you will find that you will become happier, and you'll stop worrying about yourself and your possible negative future. You'll just take charge and say, no, I'm going to do the future I want. I don't want to die of tuberculosis tomorrow or next year. I don't want to die of cancer. I don't want any of those things. So I'm not going to think about them, because I have today. And today is my opportunity to do something that I love or I want to do. And then think of something you want to do.
Okay.
It is a repetitive lecture. I will be happy to give it to you each week until you have got it down pat.
Thank you.
You are most welcome. Are there other questions?
Yes, Roncar. It's Elizabeth. I recently established that Jesus is my spirit guide. I've accepted that. I understand it. I
Thank
just
you.
wonder now, I just want to know now, how does he want to work with me? Should I continue this with meditation and incense, or is there something I'm supposed to be doing more? That's all.
No.
Have any
Just-
ideas?
Yes, okay. Just ask questions when you need answers. Do you understand? When you need help,
Okay.
ask for help. When you have questions, ask him your questions and listen to the answers. Then it's perfectly good for you to meditate and use incense to put yourself in a state where you can listen to him and his advice and his guidance directly. And that is how you work with your spirit guide. You don't sit down and wait and say, Spirit guide, what shall I do? How can I serve you? Your spirit guide doesn't want to be served. If you can serve others and you are in a job which serves others, that you are doing what you are supposed to be doing here on earth. You are helping others in a time of distress and need. From your own experience, you can give good counsel. And so you are in a perfect position for yourself at this time. And when you need help, that is when you ask Spirit for his help, for her help, just for help. How do I solve this problem? Enlighten me. I need help with this. And then your spirit guide will help you and give you the answers and the help you need. Some people think that they have to wait on spirit to tell them what to do. Well, that is not you taking responsibility for your life. You are the one in charge of your life. And you have to create and do what you want to do and get the most out of the time spent on earth. And you have already dedicated a large part of your life to serving others in a way which you no longer feel is helpful to them. And so what you are doing now perhaps is more suitable for yourself. But just ask your spirit guide to help you when you need help. And that is what they are there for. They are not there to tell you what to do, but just to help you in your time of need.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask you one more thing? I recently worked with someone who said she was opening up portals and working with mirrors. Can you explain that to me? I was very uncomfortable. I just went there 1 or 2 times and then I didn't go back anymore because it seemed, I don't know how to explain how I felt about it, except to say very uncomfortable.
She said she was opening a portal to.
She didn't say to whom. In the place where she was giving these classes, she said she had opened many portals, and there was something in the energy in the place that just made me uncomfortable after 2 times.
Then you stay with your intuition, which tells you this is not the place for me. Perhaps the information she was giving you was not helpful. To say that I am opening up a portal, that is a doorway to what? There are all different kinds of portals, some of them good and perhaps some of them not so good. But it is hard.
I felt like it was not so good. I did definitely feel the second time it was not so good. And that's why I left. But all right.
And then that's what you should have done. I mean, there are people who, for some reason, think that being aligned with the devil is a good thing. And that certainly is not, and can cause all kinds of difficulties for people on the earthly plane who do not think clearly. So you did not get a good feeling from what she was saying and doing, and you didn't get, I don't know what you were going there for, but I assume you didn't get any result that you were hoping for, and so not going back was the right thing to do.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Are there other questions?
I have a question. Trying to figure out how to frame it. I've recently gone through a devastating loss, and I'm dealing with all the stages of grief, of course. But I'm in a unique situation where I know I have my entire life ahead of me. Just trying to figure out where to go and what to do from here, because I'm not really sure. I have some ideas, I have some projects I'm working on. But one of my problems is that I am indulging in some relatively self-destructive behavior, and I'm trying to break that habit before it gets out of hand. just looking for some advice in that department on to get myself back on track so I can work towards the future.
Well, as you have recently gone through a devastating loss, do not try to hurry yourself through the grief process by making a decision on what you wish to do in the future. Some people try to find looking to the future as a way of avoiding their grief. And that is not helpful because grief needs to be gone through until you are no longer in deep grief. So you, of course, have to carry on with your life. You cannot stop working if you are working. You probably need to continue. If you are not working, maybe finding a job, any kind of job, will do for the time being. Do you understand?
Mhm.
I don't know what it is you need at this time, but when I am speaking of finding a job, any job, that is not you creating a future for yourself. That's for you taking care of now. Your needs for the moment, which are for shelter and food and other necessities of the living. And so when it comes to your self-destructive behavior, as I had spoken to Danielle, who likes to worry, it is up to you. You're trying to get it in control, and I'm not sure what that behavior is. So it's a little bit hard for me to give you succinct advice to help you in the situation. However, the words are pretty much the same. You are the person who is in control of your life. And self-destructive behavior implies that you know what you are doing is not good for you and should be avoided. And so therefore, I'm not sure what the compulsion is for this behavior. Whether you are trying to avoid something, whether you are trying to punish yourself for something, exactly what is going on there that you are doing this self-destructive behavior. And it is not necessary for you to share this with me in this public dialogue, so to speak, but it is for you to examine your motives for why are you doing this self-destructive behavior? Is it avoidance? Is it distraction? Is it punishment? And knowing the answer to that question can usually be the way by which you can figure out how to stop it. For if it's self-destructive behavior because you are punishing yourself for something you believe you did wrong, or perhaps that you just did not do when you should have, then you have to find a way to forgive yourself for that behavior. Each of us, in our own way, everyone on earth, always try to do what we think is best. Even your self-destructive behavior is an attempt to do what you think is best, because it is helping you to relieve tension or unhappiness or fear or perhaps self-loathing. I mean, all of these things could be part of self-destructive behavior. And if you can figure out exactly what it is, then you can figure out what you need to do. You can always come back here, and if you are willing, at a future session, you can be open with what you think you are doing with your self-destructive behavior, and I can help you then to find the solution. But you will be more successful if you can figure out the reason for your self-destructive behavior. And I believe part of this could be guilt. Guilt that you did not do something, or you think you should have done something along that line. And so you may be punishing yourself by doing these things as a way of just punishing yourself. And I can see in your statement that you are trying to contain it so it doesn't get worse. So it is up to you to make those first steps for yourself. And if you cannot figure it out from there, then of course I invite you back to this public forum, or you are also aware of how to get in touch with the medium.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. Are there other questions? Well, we still have time. My questioner who never runs out of questions, or you have another question? Perhaps you have abandoned your computer.
Well, I could probably come up with another question.
Okay.
As you know, I do spiritual healing at the Institute.
Yes.
And the thing is that my hands are always ice cold, yet the people who I either lay hands on or over constantly tell me that my hands are burning up and on fire. And I mean, they don't feel that way to me. I was just wondering if you have any explanation about why that happens. I mean, I guess it's the energy, but lately, the one lady in particular, she said to me, your hands were setting me on fire. And to tell you the truth, they were ice cold to my own touch.
Yes, well, that is a matter of perception, is it not? Both yours and hers, which how you're sensing the energy. You are sending the energy depending upon how you are doing your spiritual healing. It is you are either drawing it in from spirit, so to speak. You are drawing in the energy and you are sending it out. It is traveling through you. She is receiving that energy. Now, when you put energy into anything, it always warms it up. And so you are sending energy to her. So you are warming her up. Your perception of your hands being ice cold is just that, because the energy is flowing through you and you are not able to sense really what your hands are at that time. Are they ice cold when you stop your healing, or do they warm up very quickly? Are they warm as soon as you stop? You see that just an indication of your perception.
Well, I mean, this sounds crazy, but I have been told that I have hands colder than dead people, but they are cold all the time. But I do notice that they don't change. They always feel, if I touch my own hands and hold them, they feel cold. I could take gloves off and my hands are cold. But I'm glad that I'm not freezing these people, but it just seemed awfully strange because I don't feel that at all.
No.
I just feel the coldness.
The energy is flowing through you. So your hands
Okay.
feel as your hands always feel. It is the perception of the person is receiving you the energy. You are warming them up.
All right, thank you.
You are most welcome. Are there other questions? We still have a few moments if anyone has another question. But as it seems there are no more questions, then I give you all my blessings. I wish you a wonderful week. Good night.
Good night, thank you.
Hi, I'm back. Well, I hope you enjoyed the evening and you got answers to questions. I hope they were helpful. And if not, just come again and ask again, except try to ask them differently. Okay, well, I guess that's it for the night. Remember, I love you all. Good night.